Mathematics Ordinary Level, Paper 1, 2022, Part 2. Let's continue with question number 9. Insert the correct symbol, bigger, smaller, or equal, to make each statement correct. You will find this on page 9 in the Mathematics Ordinary Level textbook, Part 1, Grade 10, 11. Now, when you do this, it's very, very important that this decimal, and if this is a vulgar, it must also be a decimal. So use your calculator and go and say 3 divide 11 equals. And write it there. It's fine. 0.272727. Okay. So if I look, I say, oh, but this is 2 because there's a 0 after that one. So remember, the mouth always wants to eat the biggest one. Okay, the next one. Now, if you can press it in on your calculator. So I think the best will be to just press it in. So say 1 divide square root 7 equals. Okay, so I get 0.37796. I think it will be all right. Then square root, and you can make a bracket and say 1 divide 7, close the bracket, equals. And that is 0.377964. It's exactly the same. And that's why I put the equal. And the reason why, just explain, because actually it was square root 1 over square root 7. Okay. And if you go into search, and I did a little bit more in the AS-Level textbook, then it will be 1 over square root 7. Oh, square root 7, can you believe? Just 7. Okay. And the square root of 1 is basically just 1, and that's why it's equal. But press it in on your calculator, and it will help you. And in the next one, always remember, there's a 0, but it's think of a number line. Now, if you think of the number line, okay, and I bring the numbers. Okay, so say there is 0, there is -1, there is -2, and there is -3. So if you have -2.1, okay, let's just go. -2.1 is there. -2.5 is in the middle there. Do you see that? So basically, can you see? And now the closest, rather want to take a color, so there is negative, this is the one. So the closest it is to 0, the bigger it is. Okay, so which one is closer to 0? It's -2.15. So definitely that will be then your biggest one. Okay, now it's almost that statement. Is it better to owe somebody $2 or to owe somebody $3? Okay, so although 3 sounds bigger, but it's better to have only a debt of $2 than to have a debt of $3. That's the argument. Okay, so the next one, number 10. Fill the missing number on the dotted line so that the two fractions are equivalent. Okay, you will find this on page 9 in the Mathematics Part 1 Ordinary Level textbook. Now, you must just see, what did they do with 63 to go to 7? So, if you say 63 divide 7, they were dividing by 9. Now, what if they did it to this side, and if it's equal fractions, then they must also divide by, let's just write it, divide by 9. So it must be 36 divide 9, and the value is 4. So basically, I just wrote a lot, but it's 4 over 7. Therefore, 4 over 7 equals 36 over 63. Okay. And now the next one, and you will find this, number 11, on page 36 in the textbook. Estelle buys 0.345 kilogram of nuts for 24.84. Calculate the cost per 100 kilogram of nuts. Okay, now it's like that direct proportion. So I'm just going to say 0.345 kilogram is costing 24.84. And then it's 100 kilogram Okay, just always check that if this was gram, then you must make the units the same. But luckily, it's also kilogram. And then it's x. So what do? I cross multiply. This is direct proportion. So I'm going to say it's 0,345x. I cross multiply. And 100 times that is going to be, or you can say it's 100 times 24.84. Please don't write in the margin. Okay, so I'm just going to, I don't want to set a bad example to you. I'm rather going to rewrite this over. Okay, so it's going to be, okay, let's start again. It's going to be, and if you want and you write something, it's just my pen is not so accurate as yours, so then I just draw a line just to make it a bit more clear. So if I multiply, it's 0,345, and that's x, and that's equal to 100 times 24.84. And then I just divide by 0.345, and I divide by 0.345, and then I get that the value of x will be 7200. So unfortunately, I draw that line. If you draw the line, draw it in pencil. Now I can clean it, and it's just going to be, the dollar sign stands already there. It's going to be 7,200, because 100 kilogram and nuts is quite expensive, but very healthy. Okay, so let's go on. Question number 12. Okay, so in question number 12, you will find this on page 36. Okay, so Ruth pays 3/8 of her monthly earning as a tax. She pays 9,450 in tax. Calculate her monthly earnings. Okay, so basically, it's almost that you can just do it on the same. You say 3/8, I know that it's 9,450. But now, I'm going to do it on the principle also from direct proportion. So what is the full salary? Calculate her monthly earnings. That means her full pay. Her full pay is represented by 1, but in terms of a fraction over 8, denominator, it will be 8/8. Say it was 3/7, it will be 7/7. And I want to know that. So again, I can cross multiply. So I can say 3/8x, and that is equal to 1, or that will be 1. It's actually just 9,450. Then I divide 3/8, and I divide 3/8, and my final answer, she's getting 25,200. Okay, so she pays quite a lot of tax, but she also have a nice salary. Okay, and then the last one on this page, and then I'm just going to go to the exam report. And I wrote here page 35. So this is all in chapter 1. Very important chapter, especially in this paper. A grandmother gave a certain sum of money to be shared between her grandchildren, Maya and Carl, in the ratio 4:5. Carl received 600. Calculate the total amount that the grandmother gave to her grandchildren, Maya and Carl. Okay, so basically, it's that proportion, okay? And that, I think it's that missing outcome. So if you're going to go on then page 35, so MC, this is Maya and Carl. And she do it in the ratio 4:5. Maybe one is 4 years and one is 5 years. Okay. And now I know that Carl received 600. So I know his outcome. So I must see with what, and I'm going to take another color. I'm going to see with what did I multiply. So if I go and I say 600 and I divide by 5, I multiply with 120. So with what do I multiply here? Also with 120. And if I say 4 multiply 120, I get 480. But remember, go back to the question. Did she ask what is Maya getting? Maya is getting 480. They say, calculate the total amount that the grandmother gave her grandchildren, Maya and Carl. So the total will be 480 plus the 600, and that will be 1080. And that will be the final answer. Okay, let's go to the exam report and go and see what they tell you there in the exam report. Okay, so we start with question number 9 on this. So it was just putting in that inequality sign. So just read what they say here. It was in the inequalities. In general, this question was moderate answer as candidates failed to distinguish between the less and the greater. Always just remember that mouth story. Some candidates use the equal. Be careful. Okay, it's usually not going to be in this type of question, which were not part of the inequality signs given. Well answers, although common wrong answer is equal. These candidates did not realize that 3 over 11 equals 0.27 is bigger than 27. Okay, so candidates could not interpret the difference between a terminating decimal and a recurring. So one that's stopped, one that's going on. Okay. And then, so that's well, poorly. So there was the signs, can you recall? Now, this question, that was just a fraction, that was well answered. And then this question, the one with the nuts, extremely poorly answered. The majority of candidates did not realize that they are dealing with direct proportion. Many candidates wrongly calculate the price per kilogram instead of the price per 100. Would have been nice if it's so cheap for 100, but it was direct proportion. And then question number 12, that's the one of the tax. So poorly answered. In this question, it was very often seen that a few candidates who realized what they had to do had difficulty expressing themselves mathematically. Very common wrong working was seen. Okay, occasionally it was clear that from further working, the majority of candidates did not realize that they have 3 parts and wanted to calculate 8 over 8. So they are working with a direct proportion again. Okay, so basically that was just your answer. Then the last one on that page, moderately answered. It was very clear that many of the candidates did not read the question properly and just took 600 as the total amount to be shared. Other candidates succeed in calculating 480 correctly, but fail to add the 2. So read the question again at the end. Amounts to find the final amount of 1080, as the question asks. Once again, many candidates fail to realize that they are dealing with direct proportion. And there they showed you the question. Okay, let's go to the next page. Okay. I think from this question, because the questions becomes a little bit more difficult, maybe I will go directly to the exam report. Okay, I'll see as soon as I did the question. So question number 14. Mr. Shimashiku changed 870 into euros. It's dollar to euros. The exchange rate was 1 euro, that's a euro sign, is $1.18 American dollar. Calculate the amount of euros he received. Now, this is actually nice because, or not, as I said, it's again direct proportion. So make sure you can do direct proportion. It's the method I'm going to use for exchanging money. But that's on page 42 that you can see. So basically, I'm just going to say, okay, 1 euro equals, I start with that statement. And then I just, it's 87, and I must put it under dollar. So $870, and I just put X. And then I cross multiply. So I get 1.18 X equals 870. And then I divide 1.18, and I divide 1.18. So basically, 870 divide 1.18, and then I'm getting, and then always, can I just show? So X will be equal, first write your calculator display down. But money must always be approximated to 2 decimal places. So then you can go and say, okay, that 8, that's the second decimal place, but that 8 makes it a 9. So it's 737.29. Okay, let's go to that exam report. Otherwise, it's too many to remember for you. Okay, So that was question number 14, and let's see if we're 13, 14. So it's moderate to well answered. The common wrong answer was this. Okay, do you see? Where they did, I think, the incorrect one, where the candidates did not realize that they needed to divide by 1 point and not multiply. If they converted currencies, they're also working with direct proportion. Again, direct proportion, as I said. It should be noted that it's expected that the answer to all money questions should be given correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, it stands also in the textbook like that. Many of the candidates who got the correct answer struggled to round the final answer correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, but they helped you by, so it's helping you first to write the calculator display and then do the approximation. Okay, let's go back to the question. Next question. Question number 15. So a bus left Walvis Bay at this time and arrives in Utapi at this time. How long did the journey take? This is time. Okay. Now, we did it in grade 8. We did it, I think you did it even in primary school. So I didn't write now a page there down. So it's coming a long, long way. So you just take your 22.37 and you subtract your 13, and it was a nice one. Why? Because the 9 can go from 37. So say 37 minus 9, and what will you get? 28. Okay, and then 22 minus 13, and it's 9. It was a very nice one. Otherwise, you could have taken hour and make it 60 if this one is bigger than the one at top, but it was not. So this was, according to me, a very, I think even a primary school question. But time is sometimes difficult for people. Okay, so let's just go there. Can I just do this one? Go back. And I just want to see number 15. No, I'm too far. Okay. So let's just see if it's here. There it is. So, fairly answered, many candidates got the hours correct but wrongly added the minutes for a wrong answer of 46 minutes. Few candidates wrote the duration of time as time notation. So, 9 hours, 28 minutes. Okay, but they helped you. They wrote the units for you down. Okay. Then the next one. So, let's just go on. Number 16. Cain invested 2,000 at a rate of 3% per year, simple interest. Calculate the total interest. Only the interest, it's always very important to see. Cain has after 6 months, not a year. You will find that on page 25, simple interest. Okay, so no, sorry, I wrote it incorrect. It's the next question. It's page 43. So interested. How do I get it from simple? So it's P multiply R multiply T over 100. And that's going to be 2,000 multiply 3 multiply 6 over 12. And that's over 100. Okay. And that, what did you see what I did? I didn't say multiply 6 because it's not 6 years. It's only a half year. So I just take the months and I put it over 12 to get that half fraction. Okay, and then on the dot you will just get $30 for that 6 months. Okay, and we can go to the exam report again. I think it's now the next page, if I can recall correctly. The other one was the last one. So just go here and just go and read this. So extremely poorly answered. The majority of candidates realized that they are working with 6 months. So the total interest is only 6 over 12 for a year. The few who realized that they needed to do did not realize that only the interest was asked. Always mark that. And not the total amount. So you don't add. Resulting in a common wrong answer of 2030. Sadly, it was also seen that candidates used the formula for compound interest. Okay, and they say simple interest, so underline that important things in the question. Some candidates are writing the wrong method. Okay, think it's 6 over 12. No, put it rather there. Teacher should emphasize that percentage means over 100. Okay, and there they showed you that. Okay, let's just go back and to the question paper. We still have 2, and then we're going to first stop this video and continue in the next one. Okay, so this one, the length of a rope is 8.3, correct to 1 decimal place. Okay, so and this is limits of accuracy, and you will find this on page 25. So the length of a rope is 8.3, correct to 1 decimal place. So that means 0.1. Okay, and if it's 0.1, I divide it with 2. That means I will add for the upper bound 0.05, and I will subtract 0.05 for the lower bound. So what will I get? I will get 8.25, because I'm going to say 8.3 minus 0.05, and that will be 8.25. And then I'm going to say 8.3 plus 0.05, and that's going to be 8.35. Very, very straightforward limits of accuracy. And then, as I said, okay, we can quickly go just to the report and just see what they tell us there. That was question number 17. Okay. Moderately answer, many candidates did not read the question properly and did not realize that the smallest unit is 0.1, which results in an absolute error of 0.05 and not 0.5. So which wrongly resulted in the error of 0.25. The few candidates who got both boundaries correct regularly interchange the upper and the lower. It's always first the lower in the answer space. So first your lower, then your upper. Okay. And then we're going to go back and we're going to do the final question in this video. And that will be there. Okay. So basically, in June, the number of people that visited Namib Desert was 1980. This number of visitors is 10% more than the visitors in May. Oh, it's that reverse percentage. Calculate the number of people that visited the Namib Desert in May. That's on page 14. Okay, reverse percentage. So it was 100, and then they add 10. So it's 110. And then it's 100. That's where the reverse percentage is always where the 100 is on top. So it's 100 over 110, multiply that 1980, and then I get 1800. So the previous year or month, I think, yes, the previous month, it was 1,800. And you can check by increasing with 10% and see, but rather make sure that you do it correct. So reverse percentage is where the 100 will be on top. And then we go to the exam report. And if we go to the exam report, that's question number 18. So extremely poorly answered. The majority of realized that they were given the 100 and were looking for 100. The concept of reverse percentage must receive more attention when percentage are taught. It is advisable to introduce the concept of 100% as the total amount from the junior grades already. The most common wrong working scene was to calculate 10% of 1980 and then just subtract the two amounts, resulting in a common wrong answer. So this was the correct answer. As your final exams approach, I want to highlight the importance of the y=mx+c mathematics textbooks. If you don't have them yet, you can find them at the following bookshops. These textbooks will be your reliable study companions, guiding you towards mathematical success. For educators aiming for exceptional maths exam results, start using the y=mx+c mathematics textbooks used by leading schools in your classroom. They are part of the NEET catalogue and can be easily obtained within your ministry's textbook budget. Make sure to communicate your request to your region's procurement department to empower your learners with the best educational resources. Furthermore, schools have the option to place direct orders with us, and we offer bulk order discounts. Reach out to us via email at the address below. Best of luck in your maths journey.